Which leads us right into a discussion of the next area, and that is the profitability. We know the revenue, but how profitable are those revenue streams to us? So if we get $1,000 in revenue, well, it makes a big difference if that's software, because that's 100% margin, essentially. And $1,000 of sales leads to $999 in profit. Whereas if it's hardware, it might only be half that. It might be $500 in profit. So what we care about is profit to ourselves and not just how much revenue.
That's the money that you keep after it's all said and done.
Right.
Essentially.
So, and the question is, when profit, how do you calculate your gross margin? That's done by understanding in hardware, you'd say, what are all the parts that we hit? This is a bill of material. What parts did we need to build, our phantom piece of hardware? And then how much direct labor? What labor did we have to pay to build that? That's how you calculate, your cost of one more product. And then that's how you calculate your profitability.
So to sum up, your revenue,
right,
and then what you've expended to bring this revenue in.
That's correct.
And also, do you calculate your profit for each revenue stream, the one-time charge, the recurring? How does that work? That's
exactly right. And it's not just one profit, because your one-time charge might be more or less profitable than your recurring revenue.
It may even be unprofitable, right?
Right. And sometimes this is the razor blade model, right? I will take a loss on the razor because I can sell you razor blades at very high margin and make profit on that. So you have to look at these things within within each lane. Within the one-time charge, what's the profitability? Within the recurring revenue, which is often much more profitable, and then those upselling opportunities.
And it's more profitable because you've already opened the door to the customer, right? You're not spending money on customer acquisition.
That's exactly right. The so-called camel's nose in the tent, right?
Right.
So, and that's very common business model. So, but sometimes it may not be. The one-time charge may be much more profitable, and the service component of it is lower, that you do that to make the customer happy and potentially get follow-on sales. So to summarize, the second grouping here and figuring out lifetime value is, after we've done the revenue, is how profitable is that? Now, there's still more, but hopefully these two things are very simple and you're with us. Next, we're going to move into the aspects of it over time.
Maybe it's useful for us to make a distinction between profit and gross margin, because in LTV you're talking about gross margin, right?
Yes. Said as someone who went to business school. There is a difference between gross margin and profit. So let me be very clear about that. Is what we're talking about with gross margin is how much just the material costs and the labor are relative to the revenue. What we are not including is we're not including all those sales costs. We're going to capture that in cost of customer acquisition. We're not including all those marketing costs with building a website. We're not including all the R&D. It's simply how much does it cost to build one more widget? And what are the parts, what's the labor? And that's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
So just to sum up, because I think it's very important and can be confusing. It was for me when I was in business school even. Let's say you make a chair. Your gross margin is how much you spent on the labor to make that chair, plus the materials, the wood, the nails, yes, in the chair. But it doesn't include the cost of marketing, the cost of delivering that chair to the customer. That's gross margin.
That's exactly correct. Just that simple definition. Profit actually is a much more ill-defined term. So that's why we use this technical term called gross margin.
Great, thank you.